Ready to dive into a film industry that's seriously making waves on, like, the global scene? Today, we're all about Nollywood, and specifically this movie, 10 Days in Sun City.
Oh, interesting.
It really, like, captures, I think, the energy and the storytelling of this really exciting, kind of cinema. We've got a review from moviekiticket.com, and that's going to be our guide for today.
Okay.
So, we want to unpack what makes this film special, see if it's something maybe our listeners want to add to their watch list.
All right, sounds good. I'm ready.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at this review, and one of the things that really jumps out is, like, how it positions 10 Days in Sun City as, like, this prime example of, like, Nollywood's brilliance.
Yeah, it's interesting. For those who may not know, like, what Nollywood is, think of it as Nigeria's film industry, like their version of Hollywood.
Right.
And it's becoming such a global phenomenon, which is really exciting to see.
It really is. It's, like, always so cool to see, like, new voices and new perspectives. So what kind of story are we dealing with here?
Is this like a straightforward romance, a heart-stopping action flick, or, like, what's the deal?
Well, that's the interesting part. This film is actually a blend of romance, action, and comedy.
Wow.
It's not something you see every day, even in Hollywood.
No, not at all. I'm super intrigued now. I always love a good genre mashup when it's done well.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the unique blend here?
Well, think about it this way. You get the classic love story, the thrill of, some action-packed scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got that comedic relief to keep things lighthearted. It reflects, how Nollywood tends to embrace this more, vibrant and kind of multifaceted approach to storytelling, I guess.
I love that. Yeah, that sounds like a wild ride. I'm already sold. But before we go too far, let's give our listener a little taste, right? Like, what's 10 Days in Sun City actually about? Who are the key players here?
Right. So the movie follows Bianca, a young woman who has, big dreams of becoming a beauty queen.
And as she, starts climbing the ladder of success, her life takes kind of an unexpected turn, and she's forced to make this really difficult decision. She has to leave her fiancé and manager Akpos behind to pursue her newfound fame.
So ambition, love, sacrifice all in one. Sounds like a recipe for drama. Who are the actors that are, breathing life into these characters?
All right, so we have AY Makun, and he's playing the lovable and hilarious Akpos. He's a very well-known comedian and actor in Nollywood.
Oh, cool.
And he's known for his ability to bring humor to, any situation, even the challenging ones.
I love that. Yeah, and I know the review raves about his comedic timing.
Yes.
So I bet he really makes Akpos like a character you just can't help but root for.
Definitely.
What about Bianca?
Well, Bianca is played by Adesua Etomi, and the review just praises her for her authenticity and grace. Mm-hmm. She's an award-winning actress as well, known for bringing, a lot of depth and nuance to her roles. So It sounds like she really captures, like, the complexities of Bianca's journey.
Yeah, it's always great to see, like, strong female characters on screen.
Absolutely.
Especially when they're portrayed by, such talented actresses. Now, I'm kind of getting, like, a little bit of a love triangle vibe here.
Oh, yeah, you're picking up on those classic elements for sure.
Yeah.
You see, Bianca, she encounters this powerful and menacing godfather figure, Otunga Williams.
Uh-oh.
And he's trying to kind of control her path.
Oh, wow.
And this character is played by the veteran Nollywood actor, Richard Mofe-Damijo.
Okay, so we got, like, the classic good guy versus bad guy situation happening. But this being Nollywood, I'm sure it's not that simple, right?
Exactly. Nollywood films are known for their complex characters and storylines. And we can't forget the supporting cast either.
Oh, yeah. Who else is in this?
The movie also features other notable actors like, Mercy Johnson, False, Grembro Ajibad, which just makes for a really strong ensemble.
Wow.
And it even has cameo appearances from Two-Face Idibia and Alibaba Akpabom, two big names in, the Nigerian music and comedy scene.
Wow. Talk about star power. This movie sounds like a real who's who of Nigerian entertainment.
Right.
But let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the visuals. The review mentions breathtaking scenery, impressive cinematography.
Yeah, that's where 10 Days in Sun City really shines. And it's not just, empty praise. The cinematography actually won an award at the prestigious Best of Nollywood Awards.
Hold on, the Best of Nollywood Awards, I gotta admit, I'm not familiar with those.
Oh, okay.
Can you give us, like, a little rundown?
Yeah, so think of them as Nigeria's equivalent to the Oscars.
Gotcha.
They celebrate, the best of the best in their film industry, recognizing talent across various categories, from acting, directing, writing, and of course, cinematography.
Okay, so this film isn't just entertaining, it's also critically acclaimed. Tell me, what is it about the cinematography that makes it so, award-worthy?
Well, the review highlights the locations, specifically Lagos, Nigeria, and Johannesburg, South Africa.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine vibrant, bustling markets juxtaposed with, those sleek urban landscapes. And it's all captured, with a really keen eye for detail and composition.
I can practically see it now.
Yeah.
Choosing the right locations is so crucial in filmmaking.
Absolutely.
It's not just about pretty pictures, right? It's about creating this visual language that really complements the story. And it sounds like, in this case, the locations become like characters themselves.
Definitely.
Adding depth and richness to the narrative.
Yeah. The juxtaposition of these two distinct locations probably plays a significant role in the film's visual storytelling. Yeah.
It makes you wonder about that visual contrast too, right? Like the energy of Lagos and then the more, cosmopolitan feel of Johannesburg. It's almost like the film's visually representing, Bianca's journey.
Yeah.
Like that internal struggle between, staying grounded in her roots and reaching for something, bigger.
It's a very insightful observation. It does seem like the filmmakers use these locations to create a visual metaphor for Bianca's, personal and professional growth.
That's so cool. And speaking of growth, how does the film handle the theme of ambition? Because it seems like that's a pretty central element to the story.
Right. 10 Days in Sun City isn't just about the glitz and glamour of, the beauty queen world.
Yeah.
It really delves into the complexities of ambition and those sacrifices that it often demands. Bianca's journey forces her to really confront her values and priorities. And it's this struggle that probably resonates with viewers on a personal level.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It sounds very relatable. Have you ever felt torn between chasing your dreams and staying true to, where you come from?
Oh, absolutely. It's a universal theme. It transcends, cultural boundaries.
Totally. I'm getting the sense that this film has a lot more depth than meets the eye,
Right.
It's not just a lighthearted rom-com. It's about ambition, loyalty, betrayal, finding your place in the world.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And that's what's so fascinating about Nollywood, right? It's not afraid to tackle these serious themes while still giving us entertainment.
Totally. And let's not forget the humor.
Oh, right.
The review mentions laugh out loud moments. And, I have a feeling that AY Makun's performance really adds that layer of, comedic brilliance.
It seems they achieved that balance.
Yeah.
Making you laugh, but also making you think.
So we have this visually stunning film, complex characters, a relatable story, a good dose of humor, what's not to love. But I'm curious, this is the third film in the Akpos Adventure franchise. Does our listener need to have seen the first two to understand this one?
That's a great question. Yeah. While I don't have specific details on, how interconnected the plots are,
yeah.
I would imagine 10 Days in Sun City can be enjoyed as a standalone film.
Okay.
However, watching the previous films, could provide some additional context, backstory for Akpo's character, maybe.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I always appreciate a good film franchise.
Me too.
But it's also good to know you can, jump in without feeling lost. So we've covered a lot of ground here, the rise of Nollywood, the unique blend of genres, the compelling storyline, the talented cast, the award-winning cinematography. What stands out to you the most about this film, so far?
What strikes me is how this one film really encapsulates so much of what makes Nollywood so captivating. It's a story that's, deeply rooted in Nigerian culture, but also universally relatable.
Yeah.
Told with, visual flair, humor, a willingness to explore these complex themes.
Well, put it perfectly. It's it represents the vibrancy and depth of Nollywood storytelling. But before we get too carried away with all the praise, let's dive a little deeper into some of the specific elements, that make 10 Days in Sun City so compelling. What about, those breathtaking visuals?
Yeah, let's break down some of the details that earned the film that prestigious award.
Yeah.
It seems like the cinematographer really has a knack for, capturing the essence of a place, the bustling energy of Lagos's markets,
Yeah.
brought to life through dynamic camera work and those vibrant colors.
It's amazing how visuals can convey so much about a culture just from those market scenes. I bet you could get a sense of the sights, the sounds, even the smells of like daily life in Lagos.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you have those contrasting shots of Johannesburg, which, according to the review, showcase a more modern and cosmopolitan side of Africa.
Right.
Think sleek skyscrapers, sophisticated fashion, and a fast-paced urban energy.
The contrast between those two settings has got to be so striking. It's like the film is visually mirroring Bianca's, own internal conflicts, right? Like the pull between her traditional roots and her desire for like a more modern and ambitious life.
That's a great point.
Right.
It seems like the filmmakers have really used the locations to their advantage, not just as backdrops, but as integral parts of the story's visual language.
It really makes you appreciate the artistry that goes into crafting a film like this. Speaking of artistry, the review also highlights the film's ability to balance humor with, more serious themes. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's not always easy to blend, comedy and drama effectively. Yeah. A lot of times one can overshadow the other, but 10 Days in Sun City seems to strike a nice balance.
Mm-hmm.
The review suggests that the humor isn't just there for cheap laughs.
Yeah.
It's woven into the fabric of the story.
Yeah.
Providing these moments of levity without, undermining the emotional weight of the more serious themes.
It's like they've managed to create a film that can make you laugh 1 minute and then have you, reflecting on like life's complexities the next.
Exactly.
I think those kinds of films are the most engaging.
I completely agree. It's that emotional depth that elevates a film beyond just simple entertainment. And it sounds like 10 Days in Sun City really delivers on that.
I'm curious about the comedic elements specifically. The review mentions AY Makun's talent for comedy.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, is the humor like universal or is it more geared toward, a Nigerian audience?
That's a great question. And unfortunately the review doesn't, really delve into the specifics of the humor.
Right.
However, based on, Nollywood's general tendency to kind of cater to a wide audience, I would imagine that there's a mix of both, universal humor and elements that might resonate more strongly with those familiar with Nigerian culture.
I suppose that's part of the fun of exploring like a new film industry. There's
Right.
that element of discovery, encountering different styles of humor and storytelling. It's like opening a window into like another culture's perspective on life.
Exactly. And even if, some of the cultural references, might go over your head, I think those core themes of love, ambition, the pursuit of dreams, those are universal enough to resonate with anyone.
Absolutely. We all face those challenges in life, no matter, where we come from.
For sure.
I'm starting to think this film is a fantastic entry point for anyone who's like wanting to kind of dip their toes into the world of Nollywood.
I couldn't agree more. It seems to, tick all the boxes.
Yeah.
A captivating story, strong performances, those beautiful visuals we talked about, a touch of humor, and that willingness to explore, really meaningful themes.
And let's not forget the critical acclaim.
Right.
Winning that Cinematography award says a lot about the film's visual quality. Do you think this film would appeal to someone who's not necessarily a film buff? Like someone who just wants to be entertained?
I think it definitely has that potential. The story's engaging enough to, draw you in.
Mm-hmm.
The visuals are stunning, and the humor adds that layer of lightheartedness, making it, more accessible.
It sounds like a film that could, spark conversations, maybe even inspire people to learn more about Nollywood and, Nigerian culture in general.
You've hit the nail on the head. That's one of the beautiful things about film, right? Its ability to bridge cultural divides and introduce us to those new perspectives.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into 10 Days in Sun City, let's shift our focus to our listener. What key takeaways would you want them to walk away with?
First and foremost, I'd want them to understand that Nollywood is a force to be reckoned with. It's an industry producing high-quality films that can, compete on a global stage.
It's like we've been saying,
Yeah.
It's not just about entertainment. It's about showcasing a unique cultural perspective and contributing to, a more diverse and vibrant cinematic landscape.
Precisely. And secondly, I want our listener to know that 10 Days in Sun City isn't just some random Nollywood film. It's a prime example of what this industry has to offer.
It's a film that, like, blends genres, explores those universal themes, and does so with, visual flair and a touch of humor. It's entertaining and thought-provoking.
Exactly. And it might just leave you wanting to explore more of what Nollywood has to offer.
I know, I'm definitely intrigued, but before we send our listener off on their own, Nollywood adventure, I have one final thought-provoking question for them to ponder. We talked about how 10 Days in Sun City kind of blends genres and tackles those, universal themes, but here's something to think about, right? Do you think the film's, Nigerian identity, like the setting, the characters, those cultural nuances, do you think those things enhance those themes, or do they make them more specific to, a Nigerian experience?
It's a fantastic question, and it really gets to the heart of what makes exploring international cinema so rewarding. On one hand, you have those universal human experiences, the kind that resonate no matter your cultural background.
Yeah.
Things like love, ambition, the struggle for success.
Yeah, we've all felt those emotions, those desires, no matter where we come from.
Exactly. But then, those experiences, they get filtered through this very specific cultural lens. The way ambition plays out, in a bustling city like Lagos.
Yeah.
It might be different from how it happens in, say, New York or London.
Yeah.
Right? The way love is expressed, the expectations within relationships, these can be shaped by, cultural norms and traditions.
So the film becomes more than, just a love story or a tale of ambition. It's a glimpse into how those universal themes play out in, a very specific cultural context.
Precisely. And that's where the real depth lies.
Yeah.
You're not just being entertained, you're gaining a whole new perspective, a deeper understanding of how another culture, navigates life's complexities.
It's like we've been saying throughout this deep dive, Nollywood, it's not just about, making films, it's about sharing stories that reflect a unique cultural identity while, still connecting with audiences, on that human level.
And that's what makes, this film and Nollywood in general, so exciting to explore. It's a reminder that even in, this increasingly globalized world we live in, there's still so much to learn and appreciate about, other cultures.
It's like opening a door to a whole new world of storytelling. So if our listener is feeling adventurous and wants to, kind of explore further, where would you suggest they go from here?
Well, I mean, this film is just a starting point, right? There's a whole treasure trove of Nollywood films out there waiting to be discovered. If they enjoyed the blend of romance, action, comedy in 10 Days in Sun City, maybe they could seek out other films in that Akpos Adventure franchise.
That's a great idea. Sometimes the best way to dive into a new film industry is to follow a series you already enjoy.
Exactly. And there are tons of online resources available now that can help, guide them on their Nollywood journey.
Yeah.
Websites, streaming platforms, even, social media groups, all dedicated to celebrating and promoting Nigerian cinema.
It's incredible how accessible international cinema has become these days.
It really is.
You don't have to, search high and low for, some obscure film festival or, specialty DVD shop. It's all right there at our fingertips.
Exactly. So there's really no excuse not to broaden our cinematic horizons, right?
Couldn't agree more. So as we wrap up this deep dive into 10 Days in Sun City and the world of Nollywood, what final thought would you like to leave our listener with?
I would just encourage them to embrace the diversity of global cinema. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone and explore films from cultures that are, different from your own. You never know what gems you might discover.
Right.
What stories might, resonate with you, what new perspectives you might gain that might enrich your understanding of the world.
Beautifully said. And, who knows, maybe you'll discover your next favorite film director or even an entire film industry that just, captures your imagination.
The possibilities are endless.
And on that note, we'll bring this deep dive to a close. We hope you've enjoyed this, cinematic journey with us. And we encourage you to continue exploring the vast and vibrant world of film. Until next time, happy watching.